It
Yes.
smells.
Okay. All right. So, Tanya, you had some feelings about this case. Do you want to go over those before we start?
I just thought this was completely different than everything we've read in the past, because everything in the past it's been very blatant that there's a lot of, personal issues that need to be addressed or whatever. And this one's all just like, look how glorious Noodles and Company is. It's all positive, and it was really hard to go through and find the negatives that were individual, and like most of mine that I listed were more business oriented decisions, which I just thought was kind of different.
Yeah, maybe that's the angle she wanted us to take, a different type of angle, I guess.
I hope so, because I didn't find, except I found one personal one when the guy was like, on my daughter's first birthday, I was actually opening a location in Madison, and I was like, priorities, dude. Other than that, it was all business related.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this case is all business. It should be all business related, I think.
Did anybody have any negatives about the case other than the business side of it?
As far as like the individuals, or
Yeah, the individuals or the way the company was ran. Anything that they saw that they would have done differently? No. Okay.
No.
Mine's
are most business.
Alrighty. Let me get my.
Did you, Alex?
One of the big ones that I saw was, or that I felt was, him trying to open a company while he was working for somebody else. Being able to be dedicated, and I know it costs a lot of money to start up, and he did what he had to do. I mean, it said at one point that he had to max out 7 credit cards. I mean, that's not the best personal decision I could ever just come up with, but.
Yeah, I do remember kind of like raising my eyebrows at that too. It's like 7 credit cards. Holy cow!
Yeah.
At least he was honest with his boss though, at his other job, saying, "Hey, I'm doing this, and I don't plan on sticking around very long." So
that is very true.
Is a good point, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so this case obviously it's talking about CEO Aaron Kennedy, how he's trying to grow the company from within, he's trying to balance pressures from outside competitors as they're working into the same fast food category as he is, and he's wondering how to grow the company, whether it be through franchising or through an IPO or what have you. Says as they grow, they face the difficult decisions on how to meet the pace of the budding company while maintaining their same culture. So, I thought it was interesting when they went through and they went to those different noodle companies in Chicago, and they found 16 obvious reasons that they thought they were failing. So they were able to go through there. But the first discussion point talks about they want somebody to define what is fast casual. What's that segment that they're trying to hit?
It's counter service, but food that is served table side.
Better than McDonald's food.
Yeah. I mean, even like Chick-fil-A is trying to get into it a little bit. However, more of the fast casual the restaurants that I've been to, even like to Noodles and Company tonight, it's served on it's like legit plates and like big bowls that come out, and it's not wrapped in paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that being nice. They just opened a Noodles Company here in Idaho Falls last year, 2 years ago, and I went and that stood out. I was like, wow, this is kind of a little bit fancier for a quick, food place. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Did you like it, Tanya? Did you like it tonight?
Oh yeah, like my kids love it. We go there all the time. I highly recommend the pesto cavatappi. It's really good.
I've personally never eaten there, so I don't know anything about it.
It's actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I had their Wisconsin mac and cheese. It was pretty good.
Yeah, my daughter swears by that. My husband does. Yeah.
with the meatballs on it. Yeah, I liked that. That was pretty good.
So what would you guys compare it to? I mean, it's obviously a step above McDonald's and like
Right.
a Chipotle.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
but
Kind of like a Fazoli's that they mention in there.
uh-huh.
Maybe like Cafe Rio would be similar, not like similar style, but similar size and market segment.
Yeah, I would say that. That's a good comparison.
I'm sorry, can you say, I was sending Dan that again. What did you say?
You guys said Cafe Rio, maybe Five Guys.
Okay. So it's about that same level or the level above that?
About the same. Maybe Five Guys is a little bit below that.
Yeah. Five Guys is more just fast food.
Yeah.
Five Guys forgets my order every single time. Never fails.
Really?
Everybody else gets their food and then I don't. And I'm like, what the heck?
They have free
I've done
peanuts, so
Okay, so with all these companies and fast food brands that we've just said, I mean, what challenges does Noodles and Company have that are within this segment? I mean, do you guys think they're kind of branching out on their own segment, or do you think they're going to have more competition in there from companies like Fazoli's and Five Guys and some of those?
I think
Definitely.
it's. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just think definitely the competition is going to get harder.
The one thing that I would say, is besides Fazoli's, there's not many fast casual or fast food restaurants that you can get pasta at, right? Because pasta generally takes a long time to cook. Their quality is way better than Fazoli's. It's something I would get, like Maggiano's or something like that. The quality is really good there. And so I think for their genre of food, for the noodles, there's not too much direct competition. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than a McDonald's or something like that, but that's just because the type of food is more expensive food.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's
So how
a
much-
direct competition with, at least here in Idaho, with that particular restaurant. There's not another fast casual pasta place like Noodles and Company. It's the only one here.
So what does an entree cost at Noodles and Company? I mean, are they that much more expensive than McDonald's?
For a large, it's $7.99, and then you pay for whatever protein you want to add to it. So they have a small and a regular, and then they have a kids meal or two. But yeah, for all three, for me and my three kids each, and they all got adult-sized meals. It was $33.
Yeah, I think my wife and I pay under 20.
Okay.
Yeah. We got 3 larges and 3 regulars and a small tonight.
Okay. So it's really not that much more expensive than a McDonald's. I mean, if you got 4 meals at a McDonald's,
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably be $25, $30.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
think.
if you did that same thing at Olive Garden, you'd be a lot more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than Olive
40
Garden.
plus.
Oh, really? It is better than
I can't stand Olive Garden. Yeah, Noodles and Company is good. Olive Garden, not so much. In the experiences I've had there.
So if you think that they've got this market pretty much nailed down, I mean, what challenges do you think they could face?
I think Kennedy is just pretty aggressive. Expanding too quickly, I thought, was one of the problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
Expanding too quickly, it's just opening up so many, just even before the one start making money or it's set, it's just another one.
Yeah. Especially when they said, "Oh, we didn't realize that our other one was doing so poorly when we started on our second." You might want to check your books.
Yeah.
Hey Dan, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Yeah, that was one of the other things I noticed.
Ready
too,
for the
because-
semester?
Yes. 4.5 weeks.
Yeah, we're all there. But where it talked about, it took their accounting 4 months to tell them that they were losing money.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And large quantities of money. I mean, $12,000. That was a big difference. So Nadine, you said you felt that they were growing too fast or
Yes, like it was.
expanding too fast. So one of the questions here says, do you think Noodles and Company can maintain their corporate culture through aggressive growth? What do you guys think?
But I think to do it a little slower, just make sure you're making money and you're doing well before you open another one. And not everywhere it's going to work. So I have to be careful.
Yeah, obviously some locations are going to be more successful than others.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and not just try to get them all over the state just because, but make sure they're working for you.
One thing I read tonight said when I was talking about like their overly ambitious goals, because they not only did they have that one where they're like, oh, we're trying to launch this one super fast, but then they're like, oh, this year we're going to launch like 37, and then next year 42, and then whatever. And then, oh, yeah, we're also going to go into 3 new markets all in 1 month, and we've never done more than one, stuff like that. And anyway, so I looked up, and I found this quote that said, it's better to like to make your goals lower and to overshoot them than to make higher goals and miss them. I'm just talking about like GE and their stuff, but I was like, yeah, I just think like I'm a person that I like to set really high goals, but at some point you also have to know what is actually attainable. Because if you set your goals too high and everything like that, then when you miss them, your investors are going to have issues, and then you're going to lose credibility with them, right? So
that was my whole point.
What's actually feasible.
See, that was my whole point last week with that guy, that his boss sent unattainable goals for him. The salesman.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
Yep.
But no,
Yeah.
I mean, it's very true. I mean, I remember growing up, my mom always had a sign that said, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's kind of that same concept that you're talking about, Tanya. I mean, you obviously have to set goals, because if you don't set goals, you're not going to be able to attain them. But, I mean, you don't want to get discouraged either.
Right.
So,
You want to be wise, be wise in what you do. If it's not working, work with what you have. And
yeah. So these next 2 questions kind of play off of each other. It says, what was the result of their early openings and why? And what was their organizational structure and team culture? So their first 3 stores that they started before they made the major changes, what did you guys think were their reasons that they were not successful?
They rushed into it. They
Okay.
didn't have like a firm like understanding of what they were doing. They maybe should have tested their products a little bit more. And then like we've talked about, they just like, okay, this is great. Oh, wait, and this is convenient because somebody found another piece of property on the other side of the country. Yeah, let's just do that.
Wasn't their food not like the best either at the beginning too?
So they had to go back and redo all their recipes and stuff.
It's almost like they jumped into the swimming pool with both feet and didn't really test out. They didn't test out anything. I mean, even any business, you got to start slow. You can't just jump in and think you're going to survive without having some of those ups and downs.
So if you guys were in Kennedy's shoes and the first store was not successful, would you have kept swimming deeper into the deeper end, or would you have gone the other way?
I probably wouldn't have personally.
Yeah, I want to say I would jump I would keep going deep digger, but I don't know if I would, honestly.
I would have tried to fix it with the first one and see, because then like it's not doesn't take as much to fix one restaurant as it does to fix like multiple restaurants, right? Because they went back and had to redo everything. They had to go back and repaint everything. Like, get it done right with one. Know what you're doing, know your product, and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought the same thing, you know, I mean, I'm not very gutsy when it comes to, you know, if I've got a wife and 2 kids, and I don't know that I would be able to quit my job, mortgage my home, and max out 7 credit cards to be able to make this loop. But I mean, that's where he's at his spot where, you know, that he's as successful as he is now, but I'm not. I mean, I'm not willing to make those jumps. But one of the things that I was trying to find it here, where he talks about what he learned at Oscar Mayer was to never base a product on one market.
Yeah.
If you have the capital for it. So I mean, he knew even though he wasn't being successful in the Boulder store, that he might have been successful in a different market. And I think maybe with that marketing mentality that he has, I mean, and the guts that he has to have to be able to do that, he was able to do it. But I know that I would not have been able to make that decision.
Mm-mm.
I find it interesting how, like, geographically, how far apart the 2 stores were.
Oh,
It's like 1,000 miles or
Maybe,
something.
Boulder, let me try one down, like, in Denver or something like that, instead of, like, oh, let's go all the way to Wisconsin. Because Madison's not that big of a town. I mean, it's another college town, but
weren't some of them close though? Did you have some close to each other?
he had
Not at
his
first.
friend there that found he had like a friend or whatever that was like, hey, I found this like available building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I think location was a problem too.
Yeah, location was a big problem. Just staying together, keeping it together was.
Yeah. So of the things that they changed, what do you guys think would be the highest strength? What would the biggest impact that they had on their business that they were successful? Do you think it was the new dishes, or, you know, instead of steaming the pasta, or instead of boiling the pasta, they started steaming it? I mean, what do you guys think had the biggest impact?
The culture, the customers, how they treat the customers and their employees, I think was pretty good.
Okay.
I think each of them deciding that it was important enough to keep on working, even though they were in such kind of a dire situation. The fact that they were so committed to it, I think that's what really helped them be willing to do whatever it takes to make it succeed. So I think everything they did helped, but it's because of their attitudes that it was able to work.
Okay. So this next one plays onto that. It says, what is it about the mantra "every guest, every bowl, every time" that helps form corporate culture? And how does it drive corporate profits and structure?
So their customers will get the same treatment every noodle company, every one of their stores. They expect the same treatment. They'll receive it to make sure
Okay.
everyone has the same, idea.
Yeah.
Customer.
To get totally churchy, I mean, it's kind of like the church, right? No matter where you go in the world, you walk in and it's the same. You know what you're expecting. You know,
Service-wise.
people might be different, but the message is the same. And I can say from 10 years of eating at Noodles and Company, I've gone there and every time the food's exactly the same. I never disappointed.
Wow.
In fact, I kind of want to eat more every time I go there. Granted, pasta's like, I love pasta. It's one of my comfort foods. But I want more. And so never argue. And the kids are like, oh, let's go there. I'm like, okay. Like, it's going to be solid. I've had other restaurants where you go in and you expect a lot. And you're like, oh.
Why did I come here?
Now I got
Yeah, but you know, when you know that like they are very meticulous, like I put it as one of their downfalls or whatever, but they have 50 proprietary like products, and so that helps them with their consistency, and I think that shows a lot through their organization as well. So.
No, absolutely, and you hit it right on the head. I mean, the hints that it gives. I mean, it says establishes clear performance expectations. It says sharing of store culture. I mean, performance goals, corporate responsibility. I mean, everybody knows where they stand and what they're supposed to be doing, and they're able to be successful because of it.
Yeah, it's almost like they treat everybody like family too, which is kind of nice. I mean, it talks about like, if the store has a good day, everybody that works like there gets a little bit of a bonus, like they share it, and so doing that builds like ownership in its employees, when they feel that hey, I'm going to get rewarded if I do well. They there's a little bit of pride that comes along with that.
Has anybody ever worked for a company like that? No, I did. I worked for Les Schwab Tire Center, and Les Schwab does that. You get a bonus based on the amount of time you worked there and how successful the company was over the course of the year. So you would make your hourly wage, and then I mean, if you were there 5 years, I mean, sometimes at the end of the year, you'd walk out of there with a $10,000 or $15,000 bonus.
wow.
I mean, so it was huge, and I mean, it's all based on how well the store does. So that's why every time you go, they've created that same culture. I mean, every time you go there, you're talking to somebody that's happy and trying to get you the best service because their jobs and their money depends on it. It's not just an hourly position at that point.
Yeah.
Well, and my job does that really. We're a publicly traded company, so we get employee stock. Once we hit a certain amount of years, we start getting employee stock. So that's nice, that they see that kickback come back to you as well.
Yeah. Like my husband works for Microsoft, and while he does have some commission-based bonuses and stuff like that, he also like his bonuses. If his group does well inside of Microsoft, they get accelerators, so it's easier and like their bonuses like can jump faster, right? So he can get up to like 50% salary bonus a year if he not only does well, but if his team does well, and so it works well to get the team. Last week it's the end of their fiscal year, and one of his teammate was like, I'm not going to hit my numbers, and so my husband was able to say, hey, work with me for like an hour and a half on this project, then you'll get attached to this product, and when it closes, then you'll get the credit for it, and then you'll hit your numbers, and then everything's all good, right? So
Absolutely, and that's how you build a culture like Noodles and Company, that drives for success.
Yeah.
So how does Noodles and Company, from this point, obviously this was in 2006 we're reading about. We all know they're successful now, but how do they plan to expand?
They kind of just want to make their way more west, like, right? Because they started more on the
Absolutely.
east.
Yep. So it says to the Midwest.
Midwest.
Specifically. And eventually they said Europe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
dude, that totally makes sense. Last year we were in London. There's this place called, I don't remember the name of it, but you walk in and it's a restaurant, and it kind of, now that you say that, it makes me think of Noodles and Company. You walk in and there's a different line for each type of food. There's like a pasta line, a pizza line, a salad line, and you walk up and you order your food just like, and the chef cooks it right there in front of you and hands you your plate, and then you go sit down. And it could totally take off. Like, we were there during lunch, and it was in like Soho, and it was packed. We got the recommendation from a waiter at like the guy that recommended us was a waiter at one of the top 15 restaurants in the world, and he's like, oh, you have to go try this place out. And it was totally a fast casual place, but Londoners have a choice of restaurants, but
But
It was
that one was good, huh?
Yeah.
So what challenges do they face when they're expanding on their growth strategy?
And maintaining the culture, maybe.
Yeah, that's another thing that suffers.
It's so focused on like fast expansion, they don't want to get rid of the culture that they have set.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have to spend time to train their employees well so that they can maintain the culture.
Okay.
And also, finances might be a problem. Profit.
So, Tanya, you said you've been supporting Noodles and Company for 10 years, roughly.
yep.
Have you seen them adapt or add new stuff, or are they continually increasing their product, or has it been
So
pretty constant?
I looked tonight. They now have 12 main pasta dishes, and every season they have a seasonal item. They'll have like, oh, strawberries in season, so they'll have like a strawberry seasonal salad, or they'll have like an Asian flair month, and they'll try hot pot or different things like that. And so they just play on it a little bit. And I think over the years, like you've seen like one or two more dishes like stay on the menu a little bit longer. When we first started going, they also did not have a kids meal. Now they do.
Okay.
So they're targeting. When we were sitting there, I noticed tonight it was a bunch of parents that you could tell it was like one parent was traveling or something like that. So there was a bunch of dads with their kids. And there was one whole family there, and then there was like me and my 3 kids. Yeah, so they're changing. They've started like all their drinks for kids are all organic. So they either have the organic milk or the organic juices. So they're going with the change in times a little bit. One thing I haven't seen too much of a change in is they don't have very many gluten-free options, which would probably be a big thing.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure it's probably coming. Granted, they have all the soup. They have some like soups and pastas. But even I noticed some of their pasta, or even their salads tonight had pasta in them. But I've had them without it too. But I was looking for the menu, like trying to figure it out.
Okay. Well, yeah, it seems weird that they didn't always have a kids menu, because they've always been trying to target, it said, like a little bit higher class than fast food, where you can bring your family into it. I'm surprised they haven't had a kids menu for a longer time.
Yeah, because I mean, like we always just used to get the small size for our kids, but now it's like even smaller, and it comes with like a side of like carrot sticks and applesauce and like a Rice Krispie treat or something. But it used to that wasn't the option.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, that's smart though, that they can, adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, they've got to be.
I mean, there's places like Taco Bell a couple years ago, they cut out all their kids' meals because people were starting to complain, especially when ones came with toys.
Yeah.
That's one thing noodles and companies never had a toy with their thing or whatever. It comes with like Rice Krispie treat instead. But some companies started going away from the kids' meals, and it was probably about that time that they brought in their kids' meal.
Huh. I did not know some of those companies went away from kids' meals.
Yeah, because people were saying that the kids were wanting the meals just because of the toys, but it was drawing kids towards junk food. So they took away the set meal with the toys to kind of alleviate that pressure. There was a lot of pressure on McDonald's to do the same thing for a while, and so that's why one of my friends worked for a marketing firm, and so McDonald's for a while tried to do like books instead of toys or cups and things like that to be a healthier thing to see if that would actually keep the same jar or whatever. It didn't go over so well, so they're back to toys.
Oh, I know.
We were even in the research campaign, like this one.
Interesting. Speaking of that, did anybody know Boston Market was owned by McDonald's?
I did not. I was reading these. I was like,
No.
what?
No.
Yeah, that was weird to me. So anyway, that was a side note. Learned something new from these case studies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that in the case study.
Yeah. So all right. So this section is called application. So I think where there was so much good in this case, they kind of want to talk about how we can apply that to other companies. So I'll read the questions and you guys can kind of chime in if you have anything. It says, how can organizational culture make or break a strategy in any company? So, I mean, it's, with the culture that they brought into, I mean, everybody was able to buy into it. So I think that's, if you have somebody where you're just leading from the top down, telling everybody what to do, I don't think you're going to be able to have everybody buy into it, and you're not going to be as successful.
Yeah, it's that trust aspect that we talked about for so long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like where I worked for First American Financial Corporation, and like we actually just got bought out by them last year, and they're trying to incorporate us into their culture, but it's just like it's been kind of hard because we're so small. We were so used to being such a small company, but now we're part of this company with 20,000 employees. And so a lot of the employees right now feel like they're just kind of like these little peons that are like numbers, instead of like an actual employee. So there's kind of, I guess, different ways you have to go about trying to incorporate the culture.
Absolutely. The next one says, how can teaming influence any corporate strategy? I don't know what that question's in reference to.
Can you repeat that?
It says, how can teaming influence any corporate strategy?
When they work as a team, they
I
are
don't,
working in goals. I don't know.
I don't know if that's a typo or what that is, but it doesn't make.
The strategy.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, based on I just started reading this week's reading assignment and the 5 dysfunctions of a team, and it's talking about how what was I gonna say? If they were all acting as individuals and not as a team, and so that totally screwed everything up. She's used the analogy of when her husband was a coach. She goes, well, what would happen during halftime if my husband pulled in his center and talked to him individually, and then pulled in the point guard and then the wings or whatever? She's like, nobody would know what was going on with the other person. So how could you be expected to improve if everybody's still doing everything so independently? She's like, it'd just be a collection of really good individuals, not a team. And so I think everybody needs to be in the loop with what everybody else is doing to some degree in order for the organization to move forward.
Yeah.
And now I don't even remember what the question was.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. So have you guys seen any evidence of poor or good implementation? Addison, I think you kind of answered that one already. I'm sure there's difficult. I know they have, when companies buy out other companies, they have teams called implementation teams that go and try and teach culture and everything like that. But I'm sure it's a huge change.
Yeah, it's been a huge change for my company. And I mean, slowly, I think we're starting to adapt, but I mean, it just takes time, I guess, to adapt to a completely different culture. I mean, everything changed, all policies changed, everything just changed. People, I mean, obviously, a lot of people didn't like it at first, but I mean, we're starting to adapt. But I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. Just like it takes a long time now for things to get approved. Like if we need to change something or do something, we have to go through like all the way up to the head, and that just makes it really hard. But it takes a lot longer to get things done now.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one talks about bringing in a gospel topic with it. Tanya, I know you've done that already. Does anybody else have anything else that they kind of saw that they thought of the gospel when they were reading this?
The gospel culture is a good thing.
Yeah, gospel culture. I keep thinking about debt. I mean that 7 credit cards and mortgaging his house and everything like that. So
Yeah.
okay. So obviously we know Noodles and Company's been pretty successful since this time. So what do I mean, has it been the franchising or going public or strategic partner? I mean, what do you guys think has been the reason for their success?
I think
Financial success. Or what were the pros and cons for financing or franchising, not financing, franchising?
that they can, the franchise were able to hit many of the states across the United States.
Uh-huh.
They were able to open up in a lot of different states. So I think the franchise helped.
Yeah. So it asks me to Google some things about Noodles and Company. I've been doing that a little bit, and they're still expanding a lot. It's pretty impressive that they have so many markets that are still available. I mean, there's all over in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. I mean, there's a ton of states that are still there. So, I tried to find out how much what it costs to franchise, but I couldn't find it.
I think it said 35,000 originally.
Yeah, I was looking for current.
Yeah.
I found an article from like 2012 where he's interviewing the CEO, and basically says that around this time, well, he said, at this point they said 7 years ago, they took a kind of a risky move and stopped franchising. So I guess at this point, this is like 5 years ago, but they were really wanting to expand just like from a company growth as opposed to like franchising growth. And they franchise a little bit, but mostly just try to hire and train their own teams. So I think that's interesting, and they think that they're growing better that way.
So one of the things is you cannot open one Noodles and Company restaurant. You've got to open a minimum of 3. So I just found the requirements.
Oh,
so if you're going to open 3 to 5 restaurants, you must have a minimum liquid cash or available assets of $1.5 million.
Wow.
How much? Sorry.
1.5 million.
That's cake. Oh, yeah.
Of liquid assets, but your total net worth has to be over $3 million.
Holy cow.
if you're going to open more than 8 restaurants, you have to have liquid cash of $3.5 million and have a net worth of over $5 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So obviously their CEO or Kennedy has less faith in others as he does it himself.
Yeah.
I know I won't be owning one of those.
But well, good. Well, that's it, guys, for this week. That's all the prompts. Does anybody have anything else that they want to talk about or share?
Are we supposed to meet this week? I know we don't have a regular case study like this one.
For next week, we don't.
Next week, not the same. It's not a regular case study like this one that we have to write up. But I think we still meet. I was wondering.
Hold on.
I just barely looked at this week, so I couldn't tell you.
I know.
It has to be-
And it still says that there's a case study activity.
For
It just says case study responses.
yeah, it doesn't look like
Oh,
there's an
that's
activity.
10, sorry.
It doesn't look like there's a. It doesn't look like there's one.
There's not one. I know there's not a write up like they normally do, which I'm happy about.
Kind of refreshing to talk about a company that's like doing well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
Well, negativity.
not so depressing. Yeah.
It's a good challenge to try to find the bad stuff. I went back to look and I was like, is she giving a hint that, okay, this week it's going to be different things you're looking for? But I was like, no, it's normal. Like I read for like the first 6 pages and I'm like, I'm missing something here. Like, hold on, let me go back and check. Nobody else had posted any questions or on that board, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You got to stay but I think there was more business geared towards it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys coming and participating this week. So if there's nothing else, I'll go ahead and end this broadcast. So.
Oh, hey guys. So 2 weeks is the 4th of July.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah. We're hosting the ward
On
party
Tuesday?
at our house.
So
We may want
Wednesday?
to pick a different night.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday
go
night?
back to, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. When.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
works for me.
Wednesday.
that works.
I wonder if this week, because if you look on the reading schedule for this class, the dates and the weeks don't match up. I wonder if this class was originally, like next week was supposed to have been on the 4th of July week so that we didn't have the group meeting.
Yeah, that could be.
Maybe.
Because if you look, it says like this week's reading assignments, the dates are different.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at week 12, it looks like the write-up is due July 4th, which I don't know if anyone's going to actually do.
Yeah. Especially where there's like no class. There's like no class that day, so.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's a fair question. We can need to figure that
I'm
out.
sure it's just- Yeah, I'm sure Cedric Henry will do something about it, but.
Yeah.
And we're not
Yeah. So
or we are. I forgot.
what's that, Nadine?
Are we meeting next week or?
I don't think so.
It doesn't
I
look
don't
like
think we'll
it.
meet next week.
Yeah.
So then we'll plan to meet on Wednesday in 2 weeks then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fifth.
Okay.
So that's it. Wow, that's fourth though. My goodness.
Yeah. And unless she sends out an announcement or something like that, so we'll plan on that.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
have a good week.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
See you guys.